The warmest of greetings to you, and welcome to Happily Ever Teaching. This is the podcast to help you enthrall your learners in every subject under the sun using the best teaching method known to science, storytelling. To do this, we feature special guest educators who are passionately keen to empower your children. I am storyteller Chip Cahoon, and with me today is...
Hi, I'm Helen. I teach Year 1 and 2.
Hi, I'm Rob. I teach in a small village school in Buckinghamshire, and I teach in Key Stage 2.
And today we are seeing what we can design and technology-ize. We are looking at design and technology with a folktale from China. You can listen to the story by downloading our sister podcast, Fables and Fairy Tales, or search our website, epictales.co.uk, for Big Man Drum. There you'll find a video of me telling the story that you can share with your children. And if you're an epic educator, as of 30th of September 2022, you'll also get the story as a paperback gloriously illustrated by Winnie the Witch's very own Corky Paul. Don't worry if you missed that though, as you can order the book from any bookshop, including Amazon, and Epic educators can access the ebook and full audiobook through the Epic Tales app. Right now, though, let's continue our discussion with Helen and Rob, as we're in a very construction-based mood this week. We were looking at some art yesterday, and we were already straying a little bit into design and technology territory with Rob and his modelling for ages 7 to 11. In fact, shall we stick with you, Rob? He is now modelling for us, everybody, on the camera. Surely that comes under physical education more, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, yeah.
What's the other design and technology you have for ages 7 to 11?
So the other bits I had was kind of designing and making, but with a purpose. So I came up with two ideas, and one was to stop the gorillas feeling sad about not having their man drum, create them a drum. What could we create it out of? I would challenge my class by saying, okay, we've got to see if we can do it out of materials that they would be able to find. So not Pringle pots, but what could you use instead to create this? And the other client who I thought of who might need our help would be Nanchin. He might need a bag to carry all these jewels in. Free his hands up.
You know, that would have been helpful, wouldn't it?
It really would have been.
Potentially quite a strong bag as well.
Yes. So again, now we're thinking about what kind of materials are we going to use? How are we going to join them? It's got to look pleasing. It's got to look aesthetically good. So you could really build a good DT project around creating a bag.
It would be a great opportunity to bring some sewing in, because I don't know if we often talk about sewing in DT, but it's a brilliant opportunity to bring some textiles and sewing in, isn't it?
Yes.
In a very purposeful way.
That's why I did it.
Yes.
I mean, certainly for Nai Chin, because he doesn't know he needs a bag until he arrives at the gorilla village. So he would be needing to create something out of whatever materials are going to be there up the trees or around this moss-covered platform.
Yeah.
So he'd need to think about what he's going to use as a thread.
I'm sure there would be some spider web. That's a very strong material he could use.
And he's a very savvy lad. He's probably brought a needle with him, so might even have a needle and thread.
Swiss Army knife, yeah.
Swiss Army knife with a knitting needle.
It's bound to be something on there you can use,
XL version. Yes, but you've got to think about the materials that you are using. You could kind of step out of the story and say, okay, if we were going to create a bag for Nai Chin, what would we make it out of? It's got to be something that's strong enough to carry all these jewels, but also light enough that it's not going to weigh him down. So not build it out of metal, for example.
And in both cases, whether you're talking about the drum or the bag, you need to think about the longevity of your materials as well, because you don't want a bag that's going to fall apart while you're carrying your heavy jewels, and you also don't want a drum that's going to fall apart as it's being battered by a drummer, or what was it? Batteur.
Batteur, yeah.
Battered by a batteur.
Absolutely. You could do some market research into the different kinds of materials that would be available and which would be best.
And the different kind of fixings, I guess, for the...
Yeah. Are you just going to use nature's equivalent of sellotape, or are you going to find something else?
What is nature's equivalent of sellotape?
Sticky weed.
Yes.
Sticky weed.
Yeah.
Sticky weed. Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. I think I have an experience of.
You must
that.
must have come across sticky weed before.
Must have done.
Cleavers is its actual name, I think.
Okay.
Find it largely in hedges in the summer months.
I know that Velcro was inspired by one particular kind of plant, wasn't it? Those little balls that kind of have the
Oh yes,
pokey things.
the balls of the pokey things.
That's right.
I know what you mean. I don't know their name, but I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing we're not on the science episode, isn't it?
Well, let's rescue ourselves quickly by heading down into the side of the school for ages 4 to 7. Where's the design and technology that you uncovered, Helen?
Well, as I think I've mentioned on the previous podcasts, I really like gorillas now. And I like watching, I've enjoyed some videos of them moving, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to make a moving gorilla with the children. So teach them how a picture can have moving parts rather than just drawing a gorilla, on cardboard and cutting it out. You can actually make its body parts move using split pins. So I thought this would be a good moving pictures project, really.
Would you describe that as articulation, giving pictures articulated parts?
I don't know. Maybe you could. Not something I've heard of.
That's certainly how it's described with models, isn't it? You have articulated models, articulated figurines.
It'd be good to look at some of figurines, actually, if you can find a moving gorilla figurine to actually get the children to look at how the different parts are joined together and how they move. And you can maybe use various construction toys to explore that as well. But then in the end, create some moving gorillas with moving arms.
Yeah. Imagine looking at Disney's Tarzan range of toys might be a way to get some gorilla figurines.
Yes. So that'd be my first DT project. And the next one was similarly to Rob, really. I thought designing and making the most beautiful drum or the loudest drum, but that might be more of a music session, so I might get to that. I'd probably use, for my age group, some junk modelling materials and challenge them to turn them into a drum by stretching something over the top, various different materials you can find to see which is the most effective. If you just put paper over the top, does that work? How about some cling film or foil? What works the best to make the best sound? And as Rob talked about, which is the strongest? And then, of course, they're going to have to decorate their drums as the gorillas do with shiny things.
They've got to be shiny.
They have got to be.
If only because they're in Helen's classroom. That's all we have time for in this episode, folks. If you'd like to talk to us about anything you've heard in this podcast, or if there's a subject you are soon to teach that you'd like us to cover, you can find us on social media using @TeachHappily, or leave us a review using your favourite podcast app. Please also share this podcast with your colleagues and help us start a story-led revolution in classrooms around the world, so children everywhere can learn in a way that's effective, memorable and enjoyable all at the same time. Tomorrow, Nai-Chin and the Gorillas will help us make some music and also do a little bit of computing. But right now, it only remains for us to say cheerio, and we hope to hear your story soon. So, cheerio! And we hope to hear your story soon.